I'm Salma Waida, an AUB alumna, a current MBA student, and the Associate Vice President for Development and Alumni Relations at AUB. I'm happy and very proud to be the MC tonight for this prestigious event. The Talal and Madiha Zain AUB Innovation Park was inaugurated in September 2019. This occasion was described by President Khouri at the time as a landmark occasion in the history of our university. Although the AUB President's Innovation Challenge is only 2 years old, it's one of the highlights of the academic year for all of us at AUB. This year promises to be no exception. The 10 teams of finalists that will be making presentations this evening have been selected from among 114 applications after a rigorous screening process. They will be making presentations in 4 areas: alternate and circular economy, environmental conservation, clean tech, and anywhere operations. By the end of the evening, 2 winners will be selected. The previous months have not been easy ones for Lebanon. But despite all the challenges, the Talal and Madiha Zain AUB Innovation Park has thrived. It has become the place that AUB and the Zain family imagined, and that is so needed in our country today. If you are feeling discouraged about the future, all you need to do is spend some time here. You will quickly experience the wonderful and inspiring energy and optimism that is being generated and nurtured by our students, alumni, faculty, and staff as they respond to the call to be the change our world needs. So, without any further delay, let's get started. I would like to begin by inviting AUB President Dr. Fadl Khouri to give his welcoming remarks. تفضل دكتور.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, entrepreneurs, innovation cannot arise without a vision for the future. In Goethe's masterpiece, Faust says, "Was heute nicht gescheit, ist morgen nicht getan." What is left undone today will not be completed tomorrow. This is the spirit of innovation that needs to drive a better future for Lebanon. I'm not going to belabor the point on the things that we've encountered, but over the course of the last year plus, this whole area was blown up and put back together. We were supposed to meet 2 weeks ago. We're meeting today. We're going to get it done. And why? Well, the great academic medical leader, William Brodie, who chaired Johns Hopkins Health Enterprise, once said, "What is the calculus of innovation?" The calculus of innovation is really quite simple. Knowledge drives innovation, innovation drives productivity, productivity drives economic growth, and I'll add to that, economic growth that's fairly distributed and creates opportunities for all drives a better future for everyone. This is why AUB has partnered with the family of Talal and Madiha Zain to set up this wonderful opportunity. Our friend and partner, Muhammad Rabah, is equally determined. All of this, none of this would be possible without Ziad Ghazal, an extraordinary physician and a true believer in a better tomorrow for everyone. And this is being done by one of my oldest friends and a true citizen for a better tomorrow, Dr. Yusuf Asfour, who has been leading these efforts. So these are just some of the people, Salma Waida, Maha, so many people who are here to create an opportunity, but they're creating an opportunity that many of you will seize. We help develop extraordinary people at AUB. A wonderful young man who recently graduated after sustaining a near-fatal injury said to me, AUB is not selling the accumulation of knowledge. AUB is selling the potential for self-transformation. The potential for self-transformation. Today, all the contestants are trying to transform not just their ideas and themselves, but their societies. Lebanon has everything it needs to be a great knowledge economy. And that, the development of opportunity, that, as Brody said, drives innovation, productivity, economic growth, and inclusiveness, is the secret to a better tomorrow for this country and the peoples of this region. There are no greater genetics in terms of pools of populations. This is a fallacy of history. What has driven the greatest economic inclusiveness and future for people is just that. It's opportunity that is shared. So my closing words to our entrepreneurs, to our brilliant creators: if and when your first, second, third, 15th discovery is successful, share that with your colleagues, share that with people, create jobs, create opportunities, help translate the dream that is the Beirut Digital District, built on the fault line of the Lebanese Civil War, into the genesis for a better tomorrow for everyone. Thank you, best of luck, and congratulations.
I would like to invite Dr. Youssef Asfour, Chief Innovation and Transformation Officer at AUB, to talk briefly about the Talal and Madiha Innovation Park at AUB.
Thank you, Salma. Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the final round of the second AUB President Innovation Challenge run by the Talal and Madiha Zain Innovation Park. The Talal and Madiha Zain AUB Innovation Park was launched almost exactly 2 years ago. 2 weeks ago would have been exactly 2 years ago, just 1 week before the October 17 revolution in Lebanon. These 2 years, as everybody knows, have been marred with unprecedented challenges, including the collapse of the Lebanese currency, the oil's fourth port explosion, the Tayouni incidents a couple of weeks ago, a total paralysis of government, all during a global pandemic. Despite it all, during these 2 years, we were able to accelerate more than 20 startups in various verticals, including medical, telecom, education, energy, environmental, finance, and food technology. And we are proud to see our first cohort land good investments and operate successfully in 7 different countries. The annual President Innovation Challenge is a special event that targets anyone within the AUB community who has an idea and is interested in tackling pressing issues facing Lebanon and the region, and exploring cross-disciplinary solutions that can be turned into viable and scalable startup opportunities that can improve the human condition. As Salma mentioned, the challenge this year is focused on innovative solutions that address challenges in many areas, including the future of health, data-driven technology for agriculture, alternate and circular economy, anywhere operations, Internet of Behaviors, and the environmental conservation. Today, we present 10 semifinalists out of 114 applicants who reached the finals after 2 rounds of screening and who had been selected by a group of leading national and international experts. Over the past few months, these semifinalist teams have all made substantial progress towards developing actionable and high-impact social ventures. They have reviewed the multiple rounds of feedback, gone through mock jury recommendations, and worked with professional mentors to help them refine and improve their ideas. Today, each team will have 6 minutes on stage to convince the jury that they are worth investing in. Each team will have 90 seconds to present their final elevator pitch and 5 minutes to answer interesting questions from our jury. Before I leave the stage, I would like to thank the Zain family, AUB President Khouri, and the iPark team for the energy and for making today happen despite everything and all the current challenges. I would also like to thank the esteemed pre-finals judges, the capacity building mentors, the rehearsal guest judges, and the jury judges present today, who all took the time to make this happen. I would also like to thank the innovators who embarked on this tough challenge and worked hard to reach the finals, and bearing all my comments late into the night. Whether you win a prize today or not, you are all winners. I hope that you keep your enthusiasm and continue your entrepreneurial journey for making a world a better place. I'm very excited to see the creativity, excitement, and optimism during these difficult times, and I'm certain you will enjoy learning more about what this group of aspiring entrepreneurs has to offer. Thank you, and hope you enjoy the event. Good luck, everyone.
I'm delighted to invite now our alumnus and friend, Mr. Mohammed Rabah, to the podium. Mohammed is the CEO of the Beirut Digital District, which is home to a number of initiatives, including the Talal and Madiha Zain AUB Innovation Park. He's the driving force behind BDD, which, despite all of the challenges, is becoming the place Mohammed was so determined to create, a place that supports Lebanese entrepreneurs and aspiring youth. The stage is yours.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second edition of the Talal and Madiha Zain AUB Innovation Park President Innovation Challenge. We've been gathered here not late ago, almost a month ago, to celebrate the graduation of the incubation program cohort, and we saw great ideas to accelerate and grow. This evening, I wanted to have a short message which at the center of it is a quote that my daughter a week ago shared with me as she wanted to present something that she thought is at most danger during these challenging times that we are passing through in Lebanon. She shared with me as a topic to present at IC, saying, many are talking about the challenge of food, security, financials. I want to select education. And she came with this quote saying, education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to another, as per Gilbert K. Chesterton. And with that, my message is a thank you message today to AUB. It's a thank you message to all AUB staff, faculty, and alumni and students. Mainly because AUB was, for the last 150 years, is, and we hope all of us to remain, a beacon of hope for a better tomorrow. I want to thank the Talal and Madiha Zain team that despite through the very difficult challenges we are living, to be a hope for all these entrepreneurs to potentially come up with the breakthrough idea, to be able to have a better tomorrow, to innovate, to overcome the challenges that they are living on a daily basis, and hopefully be able to stay in a better Lebanon and not have to leave this country. I want to thank all AUB staff and all AUB leaders and counterparts to being the soul of a society for the last 150 years, and hopefully together we will be able to maintain this soul going forward. That's my message. Education is the salvation of the region. And with that, I would like just to congratulate the finalists and every participant who have reached the final stage, wish them good luck, and say, yes, we will remain together building a better tomorrow. Thank you.
As I mentioned in my remarks, there are 10 teams of finalists. We will be meeting them in 2 groups of 5. Each team will have 90 seconds to make their pitch, to be followed by 4 minutes of questions from our judges. I would like to introduce you now to the first 5 teams pitching under the themes of future of health and data-driven technology for agriculture. First, the teams pitching under future of health. Bee eating disorders, represented by Celine Rabé. Where's Celine? Our aim is spread awareness on eating disorders, help people with their recovery, and increase accessibility to the medical and paramedical fields. Good luck, Celine.
Good evening.
يي شو هالكرش؟ لهيك نصحانة؟
How many times have you heard this? Now, have you ever felt like a stranger in your own body? Eating disorders are an actual problem that around 616,200,000 individuals suffer from. Despite that, there are limited resources and data in the MENA region. I was anorexic. I went to a therapist and was still eating half an apple a day. Then to a nutritionist, and the guilt kept eating me up. It is only when I combined the two previous approaches to physical exercise that I really started healing. And that's how it started. Beating Disorders is a platform that links ED patients to specialists from a multitude of backgrounds. The core of our innovation is a cross-functional assessment that leads to an integrated program which covers all aspects of a healthy lifestyle: nutrition, mental health, and physical exercise. What's unique about us is that we provide the right expertise for each ED patient. Our approach has been successful so far, since in less than 6 months, we have reached more than 3,000 subscribers, have helped over 60 individuals, have been featured on Virgin Radio Lebanon and MTV Lebanon. We are asking for $30,000 in order to develop our cross-functional assessment, install our hotline through a collaboration with AUB MC Cares, develop our intuitive eating journal, and collaborate with at least 30 local businesses. Now more than ever, we need your help in making no one a stranger in their own body. I am Sayin Ghabay, and we are Beating Disorders.
Beating the clock, your video is also quite compelling. Explain to us, in a underdiagnosed but broad illness, which even in the most advanced countries is sometimes covered under the table, how are you going to use these funds? You've already started with social media and you've started with TV and others. How are you going to use it to try to access to at least the initial 30,000 to the next level, to potential angel investors and others?
Of course, we basically have, we are going to invest the $30,000 in four things. First, it's our cross-functional assessment. This cross-functional assessment, it will be based on the criteria under the DSM-5, which is published by the APA, and other evaluations done by healthcare professionals and professionals in the paramedical fields. So first, we're going to be developing this, which will need a lot of funds since we will need data analysts, etc., and lots of evaluation. Then we will install our hotline through a collaboration with AUB MC Cares. This also needs funds, since we want anyone who is feeling bad in their own skin at any time to call the hotline and be able to just say whatever he feels he needs to say and can't say to anyone. Thirdly, we will develop an intuitive eating journal. We just got the approval a couple weeks ago, but we will be working with Dr. Rola Ghaddar, who is one of the first ambassadors of intuitive eating, in order to develop a journal whereby people can structure their meals based on the intuitive eating idea. And lastly, we will collaborate with local businesses. As you see, we have baskets, and our goal is to promote local Lebanese authentic businesses who do healthy products. And basically, first we would be helping the ED patients by giving them some tools in order to reach a healthy lifestyle. And then we would be, at the same time, promoting these local authentic businesses. So this is how we are going to invest the $30,000.
The second group is Bye-Bye Monthly Injections, presented by Dr. Ahmad Mansour, treating blinding macular degeneration with a one-time 5-minute laser in people who refuse or cannot afford the monthly costly eye injections.
Hello, President, judges, esteemed faculty, and audience. Macular degeneration is a leading cause of blindness worldwide. It involves 200 million people, and the current standard therapy is to inject every month an expensive medication, which is an anti-cancer medication. In the US, the injection costs $2,000 monthly, and the pharmacopoeia is making 30 billion every year in net profit. In Lebanon, especially in people who refuse injection or cannot afford, especially with a bad situation, we need to find a new solution. So we came up with a novel idea, is to treat one-time, painless, safe, risk-free procedure, which is laser to the extreme periphery. By doing laser, we kill the cells that secrete the substance that causes bleeding in macular degeneration. And the cost of this laser is around $1,000. That is more than 50 times less than the injection. Our aim is to seek money to do phase 2 trial and to move to phase 3 and FDA approval, especially in Lebanon with the bad economic situation.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for the presentation. It's a great idea. I just have a question. In your own view, what is the biggest hurdle that can prevent this idea from being launched and from being considered commercially viable and from attracting users and approvals? Thank you.
I don't think there is any obstacle or hurdle. People who are refusing to have a needle stuck in the eye or cannot afford, this is, they cannot use the pharmacopoeia. So there's one solution is to do laser. Now these people are getting more and more in number in Lebanon because of the bad situation. And the expense of medication is getting more and more unaffordable. So this is why I had to come up with this idea in the present economic situation.
Allow me now to introduce iCreate, represented by Fatima Asadallah. iCreate tests creatinine instantaneously using radiofrequency sensors. By rapid and accurate creatinine evaluation, iCreate serves the lives of millions by early detecting serious illnesses such as chronic kidney disease.
Patients with diabetes, chronic kidney disease, or acute kidney injury, who are more than 480 million people worldwide, have to wait several hours to do their creatinine tests. This delay has a dire impact on their health and livelihood. Is it even acceptable for them to wait this long just for a creatinine test? Because your kidney should not wait, we present iCreate. iCreate is an instantaneous chemical-free creatinine test that is based on a cutting-edge electromagnetic technology. It can be done at home or from the comfort of your home or at lab. iCreate has high accuracy and can detect creatinine from blood or urine. It's also linked to your physician through the cloud. So far, we have finalized our first prototype, initiated our app, and started our preclinical tests. We've also partnered with AUB, USG, and their medical centers, AUB, MC, and Hotel Dieu. If we win today, we'll invest in finalizing our preclinical tests. This win will definitely help us move into international multi-center clinical trials reaching FDA approval. I am Fatima Asadallah, and we are a team of talented engineers, highly experienced professors, and expert clinicians. Join us to change the world by easing the lives of more than 480 million people worldwide. iCreate is the optimal instantaneous creatinine test.
Fatima, question, just to understand. What you're selling is a faster test.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
any patient can go next day and do the test in the lab that is possibly same accuracy, let's say, if you have. But what's the value of this time, and who's your client who wants immediately to know and not to wait till tomorrow? That's like, how critical is it to know instantaneously what's the level of creatinine? Because how will you penetrate? What will be your added value to just do it today instantaneously, other than going, as Dr. Fadlo said, to the doctors within scheduled twice per week along other tests and not only the creatinine?
Okay.
Fatima, please be brief in your answer.
Okay, if you are talking about the time, so the time is very essential for chronic kidney disease and acute kidney injury patients, because they will need to, if they have a high creatinine test level, then they should go for dialysis. So doing that fast will save lives. This is number one concerning the lives. However, we are looking to have a business model that is B2C. So we are aiming to sell it not only for patients, however, for hospitals and doctors. So if the patient comes to the hospital or to the doctor can directly say if this patient needs care or not.
The fourth group is Neuronapp, represented by Alec Akaf. Designing a device that evaluates sleep efficiency and assess stress levels for the purpose of enhancing the overall customer's lifestyle.
Good evening, everyone. I've been through my third cup of coffee, and I had a 6-hour night of sleep. However, I still feel stressed and tired. So let's do an experiment now. By a show of hand, who here thinks that they're getting enough sleep and not experiencing any form of stress all through their day? Thank you. Well, our research showed that over 50% of people who suffer from sleep difficulties unknowingly suffer from undiagnosed sleep disorders that with time can increase exponentially their chances of developing deadly diseases such as stroke, obesity, and Alzheimer. That is why I stand before you today to present the solution. Neuronapp, the first portable biomedical device to increase your sleep efficiency and reduce your stress levels. How it works is really simple. You wake up in the morning, deposit saliva on our custom strips, and insert it into our device. The device linked to our application will analyze the level of the hormone cortisol in your brain and then come up with personalized recommendations ranging from workouts to diet plans to even music to listen to. Operating in an $87 billion market that is forecasted to grow further, Neuronapp situates itself at the sweet spot of innovation and differentiates itself from the competition by offering a cheaper and more accurate product. Our team of 12 talented members, segmented into 4 departments, will use this competition's grant to finalize the testing phase and also to invest in a beta model for the device. We want Neuronapp to be here for you to have the sleep you need and deserve, and thank you.
We could all use more sleep. The correlations with sleep deficits and cortisol levels are everywhere, but they're not as tight as, let's say, kidney failure and high creatinine. How do you propose to get, because ultimately what you want FDA approval for this, you want EMEA approval. Let's say you get the money, okay? What are you going to try to prove, and then how will you sell that?
Thank you very much, Professor. Well, at the moment, we're running our testing phase. We have over 50 volunteers from all over Lebanon that gave us their saliva. And our research and development team is working on the correlation with cortisol, since the participants of this experiment are filling a daily survey when they are depositing their saliva. So as you previously said, it is true that the correlation is already there. So we have a literature review. We ran it through the AUB MC, and we're also working on running it through the Harvard Sleep Disorder Center through our founder, which is now in the United States and will be the link with this center. Now, if we get the money, what we aim at doing at first, as I previously said, is enlarging the scale of our testing phase, bringing more people in to prove our thesis more, since the devices with which we test the cortisol levels are very expensive. It's $1,000 each, with accounting for the Lebanese crisis. So as a first phase, it's proving cortisol, moving forward with cortisol, and finalizing our application, which will be out hopefully by the end of this year. And then if cortisol is approved, which we bet will be, since there's already research on that, we will move on with the beta model with the remainders of these funds. Thank you.
Our fifth team is pitching under data-driven technology for agriculture. AXAT, represented by Hadi Jafar, an application for calculating irrigation requirements for crops anywhere, anytime, using remote sensing and weather data in near real time. Available on Android and iOS. Go ahead, Hadi. Tafadhal.
Around 7 years ago, I was in the field teaching my students about irrigation. A worker who happened to be a farmer leans forward and asks, "How should I know how long I should irrigate my plants? Wells are going dry and diesel is becoming expensive." That inspired me, and I realized we need to bridge the gap. We have hundreds of satellites orbiting the Earth every day, taking thousands of images. We have terabytes of weather data feeding into our models. I wondered about the potential of putting all this technology into the farmer's hand via a simple, smart app. Based on that idea, we now present AgSat, the world's first real-time irrigation application that guides decision makers in agriculture and the landscape to deliver water allocations correctly. AgSat helps farmers produce more with less, giving them the option to irrigate precisely, reducing their energy use and conserving water. AgSat is the application that is really implemented on the ground to help the farmers irrigate precisely, save their energy and water, and reduce the environmental footprint. If you want to promote efficient agriculture, support AgSat. Thank you.
Thank you, Hadi. Ms. Salwa, you have any questions for Hadi?
Yes, I have one. Thank you, Hadi.
Thank you.
Great idea, much needed. Just have a question. Apart from the website and the application, will you be providing any on-the-ground services to the farmers?
The AgSat application is designed to give global recommendations. So we will be delivering those recommendations via the smartphone.
We will now hear from the second group of 5 finalists who are pitching under the themes of alternate and circular economy, environmental conservation and clean tech, and anywhere operations. Just a reminder to all of the teams, you each have 90 seconds to make your pitch, followed by a 4-minute Q&A, 4 minutes Q&A. Teams pitching under the theme alternate and circular economy. Cloud, presented by Lina Hammoud, Sarah Hourani, and Yara Haidar. Cloud is a social enterprise that produces affordable, hypoallergenic, organic, and biodegradable sanitary pads made from banana fibers to combat period poverty.
Greetings, honorable judges, esteemed audience, and fellow entrepreneurs. I'm Yara from Cloud. Thousands of individuals from across the globe, just like us, want to change the world. But in fact, many are ignoring the elephant in the room, the period experience as we know it. We've normalized the mass production of sanitary pads despite the fact that it's been causing rash, allergies, and infections, and over 113,000 tons of non-recyclable waste. With 80% women favoring disposable pads over any other product, Cloud is a sanitary pad that is healthy, biodegradable, and sustainably produced using banana fibers. Now, Yara, why banana? Cloud sees opportunity. What the world sees as banana agro-waste, we see as a material that is healthy, absorbent, and hypoallergenic, and today we have our first working prototype. With a serviceable obtainable market of $1.7 billion in the MENA region alone, Cloud fills the gap through online subscription plans and in vending machines across schools, public bathrooms, and restaurants. That's not it. We are redesigning the period experience not just through a product that is better for your health and the environment, but also through an online community for Arab women to share and empower one another. This is all made possible thanks to a team of 6 motivated individuals, highly skilled in product design, R&D, business hacking, and agricultural engineering. We are very honored to be standing here today among amazing startups, and we're very excited to get Cloud to your doorsteps. Thank you.
Yeah, just going again, if you win 30,000, where will it take you? What do you want to do with it?
Thank you, Mr. Rabah. It will take us not just one step further, closer, 2 steps closer to putting Cloud at your doorstep for your daughter or for your wife. We're actually going to be spending it on running costs and R&D in order to produce our first 1,000 units as a pilot test to validate the market. This in parallel to an aggressive digital marketing strategy. So, you know, sanitary pads, just like razors for men, just like milk for baby powders, it's a brand that you build loyalty to. And as such, to really offer clients, to receive their trust, the marketing is very important. Thank you.
Any other questions from the judges? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. President has one question. Oh.
First of all, I want to take a picture of each. Sorry, I forgot to ask earlier, but what can you tell us from the perspective of infection? Is there any signal that this increases infection of use of these banana-based sanitary pads?
In fact, it's proven to be hypoallergenic, as such as it does not cause any allergies, and it's like the healthiest option in between what is in the market today. So we're really innovating in the health aspect of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Yara. Our second group, green soap, presented by Lama Aridi. The idea of the startup is to collect used cooked oil and transform it into soaps.
Did you know that in Lebanon, on a yearly basis, the F&B sector discards more than 100,000 liters of used cooking oil that are worth more than $150,000? Not only this, municipalities and governments invest on a yearly basis millions of dollars in the maintenance of the infrastructure that is being affected by the discarded used cooking oil. So why not transform this oil into soap? This is Lama Aridi from Green Soap. Green Soap will be collecting the used cooking oil from the F&B sector, recycling it and giving it back as a soap at an affordable price. We currently have the prototype that you can see. After winning this competition, hopefully we'll be able to start our workshop. We'll be able to improve our product, introduce new products, and start our partnerships with the F&B sector, since they will be our main suppliers of the used cooking oil and the main consumers of the soap. Join us in saving the environment and saving the infrastructure and population's health. Thank you.
Thank you, Lama. Mr. Rabah, any questions?
My first question that came to my mind, has it been done before, elsewhere? What's the innovation? If yes, what's the innovation in the product that you're offering?
Worldwide, yes, it has been done. While doing my research, I got across several products worldwide. In Lebanon, as far as I know, there's no such product in the market. The added value of this product is that it solves the problem of the huge amounts of used cooking oil that are being discarded in the ecosystem, in the soil, and in the infrastructure.
So your market is Lebanon?
No, the long-term target is not only Lebanon, for sure.
Okay.
Under environmental conservation and clean tech, we have one team, Poseidon Hydro, presented by Daniel Masri. We have invented a new energy generation tech, which is 16 times cheaper than solar, operates for 3.3 times longer, and has a 53 times higher energy unit delivery, solving 73.2% of CO2 emissions from the energy sector, with implications of advanced metallurgy, water desalination, green hydrogen production, and more.
Did you know that 73.2% of CO2 emissions are caused by the energy sector? Therefore, we need to start here. We have invented a new energy generation technology based upon eliminating the multi-billion-dollar expense of hydroelectricity and replacing it with cheap, modular, high-pressure concrete silos. This order of magnitude innovation in this $8 trillion marketplace is being developed by 4 brilliant engineers, in which we have achieved design statistics of 16 times cheaper than solar, operating for 20 hours per day, thus solving the intermittency of renewables. And for the same amount of capex cost, we produce 53 times more energy commodities. With $30,000, we would be able to build our pilot plant for us to then grow our company, to power and decarbonize the grid to solve this imperative, global, and catastrophic problem. I'm Daniel, And I will stop at absolutely nothing to ensure that we are able to decarbonize our energy systems. I invite you today to realize that it takes one decision for us to change our fate forever, for us to really shape the way that we can pass down our planet to future generations. Thank you very much. Thank you.
In your presentation, you mentioned that your technology allows you to significantly outperform other renewable energy projects, primarily those focused on solar energy. What about other types of renewable energy sources? Where would your technology stand as compared to them? And my second question is, are there other operational companies that have the same model? If not, I have a follow-up. Since the concept has been validated by experts, as you mentioned in your presentation, then how come no one did it before? Based on your research, what are the potential barriers to success or market rollout? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So to answer your first question, now solar power happens to be the most competitive tech compared to us, yet at the same time we are 53 times better. So if we were to compare ourselves to other energy generation technologies, we are still order of magnitude more innovative. And to answer your secondary question, Henry Ford once said, the creator of the automobile, if I asked individuals what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. Truth be told, I wish that this has been done before, but unfortunately it hasn't, due to an assumption in the marketplace that there is no more innovation to be done in hydroelectricity. So we happen to be the first.
We have 2 projects pitching under Anywhere operations. First one, and it's taken from the Arabic language, the name I mean, Sila, presented by Mike Harb. Sila is a 3D virtual classroom that replaces Zoom lectures to include class interactivity, to increase class interactivity.
Hi, everyone. Have you heard of the cartoon Magic School Bus? It's a story about a teacher taking her students on an adventure on a magical bus. The bus travels through time and space to teach kids about science. It was my favorite educational show. But then, during COVID, I got bored from looking at people trapped in video boxes. So I made Sila. It's a virtual 3D classroom that replaces Zoom lectures. Like a game, every teacher and student takes up a character. They can talk, present on boards, and go on magical field trips that the community will develop. Imagine walking next to your classmates inside the human body trying to study anatomy. With no goggles needed, students can learn abstract subjects in an immersive experience, all while embracing the new generation's love for video games. I have been working in the edtech industry for 2 years, and I developed this prototype. I will continue this project at the incubator of the University of Montreal, where there's a market of $120 million in Quebec alone, and the 5th largest game development hub in the world. We make money through subscriptions and licensing, and these are 2 examples of the market's potential. We need the prize money to build a development team so we can finish the MVP and get traction. Join me in building virtual classrooms. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike, very competitive marketplace, virtual classrooms. How will you differentiate your product from others, at least to your early investors?
So from the chart here, it pretty much sums up the different competitors. You have a lot of competition in the VR market, that's for sure. You have Facebook getting all the market, but we don't use goggles. And in education, VR goggles are very expensive, especially if you want to distribute to thousands of students. So we're building a 3D world. And you have 2 competitors. You have Gather. It's a 2D world that universities in Canada are already using, but since it's 2-dimensional, it's not as immersive as a 3D world. And then you have Minecraft for education. It's a game developed in 2011, acquired by Microsoft in 2016. Now that's huge. How are we going to compete with that? But they're trapped with a game that's been developed in 2011. They have constraints. The graphics are still very old. They look pixelized. They look cubic. What I'm trying to do is to use the next generation graphics to build a real immersive experience.
The last group presenting is also, the name is derived from the Arabic language, Bostop, presented by Michael Ajbe Online, a startup which is made by the people for the people. mixing technology with the informal bus sector of Lebanon to restructure it and open it to all the citizens, especially in these difficult times.
Today I will be talking to you about Bostop. By show of hands, how many people here use public buses for their daily commute? Now I was hoping I could see you guys, but I can't, so I'm going to assume most of you kept their hands down, which is ironic knowing the current situation. How come more people aren't using this cheaper alternative to move around? The answer is trust. No one trusts these buses, and for three main reasons: the lack of organized lines, the absence of a reliable itinerary, as well as the lack of maintenance and safety of these buses, especially for women. The solution? Bostop, an application or a platform to put in contact drivers and riders to offer full communication and transparency. As a customer, I go in, book my ride, I can see the stops, the lines, the estimated times, as well as the drivers. As a driver, I can see all the stops, all the line, all the itineraries, even the customers waiting. Also, there will be a minimum standard required by each driver and each bus to have a minimum standard of quality. My name is Michael and we are Bostop, a team of 8 Arab visionaries with different skills in different fields to assure complete growth of the project. For the past years, we studied the market, built an MVP, an algorithm, and a curated team. We also did a lot of networking with all the stakeholders involved, from government to competitors. With the money given, we will be able to develop the platform in 6 months and start a testing phase in Beirut with 4 lines and 24 drivers. We would also follow up with our connections and collect extra money using this competition as a launchpad to register the company and proceed.
Thank you, Michael. I have a couple of questions, please. In your pre-recorded presentation, your business model under option 2, you mentioned that riders will be able to pay and book through an app, probably using a credit card. According to recent statistics, 55% of the population in Lebanon is unbanked, which means that they don't have access to a bank account and a credit card, of course. So it's reasonable to assume that a portion of your target market will fall within this 55%. How do you plan to overcome this, and what additional payment options will you include under option 2? This is my first question. The second one is that the prototype shown on the screen, it's shown in English. So how many language options will the app offer, just to ensure that it's user-friendly to everyone? Thank you.
Of course. So to answer the first question, the options on the business model will all be implemented. So we'll have a subscription fee, and we'll have a commission, and we're going to have ads in the buses. Now, to focus on option 2, which is the one you mentioned, we are aware that banks aren't booming, to say the least, in Lebanon right now. And we will be operating through prepaid cards. You go to a store or to a supermarket, you get a prepaid card, you enter the code in the app, and it'll give you credits. And then you can book your ride through the app. So we are aware that credit cards aren't really, especially with the segment we are targeting, they're not really the favorite option. So prepaid cards will be the way to start. And to answer the second question, which I believe was about the language, of course, there will be an Arab version and an English version, because through our surveys, we found that most drivers only speak Arabic. So it wouldn't make sense to have an application in English, but both options will be available.
Usually crisis fuel innovation. And, entrepreneurs are the engine of the innovation. Therefore, despite all the negativity that we've seen for the past few years, be it in terms of Corona, on a macro level or on a micro level about Lebanon, today we've been pushed, whether we like it or not, 5 years into the future in terms of technology. And we've seen that across sectors. To start with is obviously the ultra healthcare, where we've seen a vaccine being produced by a whole new technology. It took 1.5 years versus an average of 5 years, usually. And then, we can extrapolate into the drones, into the ghost kitchen, the UK version of the ghost kitchen. We can even think about the food delivery businesses, and all those sectors from year to year are now increasing by folds. So we're talking about multiply by 2. We don't say anymore 20 or 50% increase, it's folds. In Lebanon, the situation is even worse, so the problems are even worse. And I guess, we've seen it today with the 10 pitches, and I loved how it ended. He was talking about a startup that got incorporated in Lebanon, Yalla Bus. I've seen the girls. It was an impressive technology. But because of Lebanon, they fell. And he was very clear at saying that it's their revenue model that actually made them collapse. And he's just doing the same, but from a different perspective. So despite the negativity, we can still find talent.
Yeah, we need to find opportunities. That's the idea. And then today, when we talk about innovation, you know, it's the priority of every agenda of every government and every startup or every, you know, NGO or every ecosystem. So we really need to take that ecosystem or that innovation part and drive it more so we can have a better outcome, and then so people can start seeing the outcomes. And this is where Lebanon, we have to take that challenge that we have and then drive it into something else. Take the energy, don't despair, but on the contrary, take that energy and then change it. So if we look back to what's happening in Lebanon, well, let's ask, what's innovation? It's the main pillar of any government or any society. It's driving the future. So if we prioritize it in our government, and I think they are not prioritizing, of course, but if we look at what's happening in BDD or Berytech, they are the core of this. We need to take that experience and multiply it over and over and over and over throughout Lebanon, because we have talents spread across the region, not just in Beirut. So we need to really thrive that spirit into our young and old. You know, entrepreneurs are not just youth entrepreneurs. Everybody can be an entrepreneur, and especially, you know, the most successful entrepreneurs are in their 40s and in their 50s. You'll be surprised. Why? Because they have all of the experiences, all the failures, everything, and then this is where possibly more percentage will be on a successful level. So we need to drive this. And we need to prioritize. In my opinion, Lebanon is still in the old industrial age. We need to go to the fourth industrial revolution, follow that technology, not just the technology. Innovation could be, as Dr. Fadlo said earlier on, it could be on anything. We've seen the medical, how it was, you know, really disrupted. So we need to spread in Lebanon, I think, capitalize on some technological advancements, because this is the easiest you can, you know, scale it, and the least maybe investment, but you can take it hard. And then if you look at the Lebanese stories from Hop-In, which is a Lebanese guy who got, you know, a $7 billion evaluation a couple of weeks back. Why? Because he had a great idea, right time, right place, and it's not incorporated in Lebanon. We look at Anghami, the same thing. Everything was happening here, and suddenly it went away because of the priorities of the government. We need to focus more, scale more, try to create successful events, try to create successful ideas. And the most important thing, not just dream, but execute. That's the one advice in the end. It's about the execution part. Because all of these ideas are beautiful. If you don't execute them, they're always on a drawing. So, yeah.
I'm going to draw a little bit on Lebanon and zoom in, since we've been, you know, investing in Lebanon since 2005. We invested for the past 5 years in early stage businesses, around 24 investments. And just last year, we've closed 11 growth stage technology. I'm going to talk about a little bit the ecosystem so that we see, and I'm always going to be, you know, the one with positive news. So today in Lebanon, for the past
There's no bad news here.
For the past 5 years, you know, just before, let's say that, you know, just before the Thawra, around $225 million were invested in the technology sector in Lebanon. It's done deal. And they were spread around 120 companies, all right? So 120 companies, obviously, Thawra started, free fall of the Lebanese currency, add to it the corona, you know, and last but not least, the blast. What happened? Out of the 120 companies, obviously the majority disappeared. So, however, when companies disappear and they're not created, it established a whole series of second-time entrepreneurs. So despite, you know, all the closures that we've seen, be it a quicker death because of corona and the free fall, or is it they weren't doing better? We will never know, Maheke. Some of them were bound to disappear. They just disappeared faster. And usually in VC, we just talk about a 90% probability of success, so it's not so bad. So, this is a second generation of entrepreneurs that we're going to be seeing for the years to come. And then I guess this is going to bring a lot of maturity to the VC market and to the startups market in Lebanon. This is from one side. So from the second perspective, it's, what happened to the people that stayed, and, the 10% that succeeded from the 120, they got further round of financing. And what's nice about, I'm going to fall back on Anghami. Today, Anghami is one of the success stories coming out from Lebanon. However, the Lebanese market have seen 4 exits this year. Starting January of this year, we've seen 4 exits. And, I'm sure every one of you have heard of Sinkers. Inspired came and acquired the whole equity stake. We have Treasury Express. The VCs went out at 3x valuation. So we're actually seeing that those international companies are coming and acquiring the talent of the Lebanese. So it is bad, but if we put all the sentimental things on the side and we just think about an economy, we can do better for the years to come. Akid, we have more expertise. And, entrepreneurship is not, when we sleep one day and we wake up another day. It was a very nice presentation. And then it doesn't work this way, really. Yeah, right. So this is, we invest in people and we invest in ideas. Obviously, the ideas are great. But, as you said, the main thing is in execution. In venture capital, we see around 200 to 250 entrepreneurs per year. You can be sure that more than 15 come in with the exact same idea. So العبرة بالتنفيذ really. And this is where أنا عتبت حدا من AUB قلت له where's the team slide? قالوا لي apparently it's in the videos or in the documents that were received by the jury. But the team is the essence of everything that we do. لأنه the team can alternate the idea and shift it from a year to a year. لأنه it needs to adapt to the local market.
And I think this is the question now with, what's next? What's in the region? What's the priorities in the region? Where is the trend going? And this is what we have to discover. We always say that Lebanon is a small market. We agree on that. But having something here, you could test it, scale it, and whatever, success. But always look out on the region and on the global scale and see what's happening. If we look a little bit back since 2008, because that was a really, hard time financially, but in the same time, look at all of these, ideas that came out. 2020 is another eye-opener, and many ideas will come. Already, we've seen huge ideas coming and huge startups already forming internationally or locally or in the region. And this is where we must take also that we can be, we can have ideas, we can capitalize on the crisis that we have lived in and we passed. So if you look at the region, we must see also what the region wants. That's something very crucial, because sometimes we think our idea, might work here, because we've been focused more on our current and national, maybe survival on the agro side for the last maybe 2 years. This is something that plays. But of course, if we think more towards what's coming in the next 3 to 5 years, and where do we want to be, and what is that one thing we want to solve? It's always about the customer or the citizen, making their life better. And I would say also on the technological side, we've seen AI and blockchain taking off the world, and this is the future technology. So, and investments can happen easily there. You don't need a lot of big investments to really do such a thing, versus traditional industrial. That innovation can continue, of course. I'm not saying that, but we need to scale on and try to change perspectives and try to change verticals. The future is very bright. What's happening in the region? I've just came from Dubai and GITEX. What I saw there is like a dream, and I'm not comparing to there. Of course, they have a different dynamics and everything, but we have the core. We have the people. We need to stop that brain drain that we are facing and change the ideas into scaling and more successful exit and successful ideas and successful execution and successful startups, not just, again, ideas or so on.
So I'm going to start with the third place project, AgTech. AgTech is a very inspiring project and actually was ranked very highly, as highly as anything. We believe this project is further along than the means of the President's Challenge. This is a project we believe is ready for innovation, for incubation and larger investment. And we'll be meeting with the principal investigator, Dr. Jafar, and his team of AgTech to figure out what the next steps are with regard to investment in what we believe is a very important program. Second is cloud. So the first prize winner is Poseidon Hydro.